Katharine Hepburn was the brightest star of the Golden Age, but beneath that glimmer lay a rotten family tragedy and the toxic vines of forbidden love. She wasn't just a four-time Oscar legend. She was a wounded girl living in the shadow of a dead brother. Wearing pants, breaking rules, and fighting like a man in a man's world, she was a prisoner of her own private hell. Welcome to Iconic Lives, where we strip away the masks to reveal the brutal truth. Born into a progressive yet bizarre family in Connecticut, her home was a place where nudity was open, but boundaries were non-existent. This freedom was actually a cover for deep neglect. From childhood, Katharine was encouraged to act like a boy. She cut her hair short and called herself Jimmy. This wasn't an innocent game. It was the start of a lifelong war against gender norms and her own identity, a battle she fought until her very last breath. The year 1921 was the apocalypse for the Hepburn family. 13-year-old Katharine found her beloved brother Tom hanging from a rafter in the attic. The sight of his purple face and swaying body sealed her soul forever. The family denied it was suicide, calling it an experiment gone wrong. This policy of denial stopped Katharine from grieving. That day in the attic, it wasn't just Tom who died. The little girl named Katharine died right there with him. This trauma created a sick obsession. For years, she used her brother's birthday as her own, trying to keep Tom's spirit alive in her body. She dropped out of school and wore an armor of arrogance. People thought she was a snob, but she was just a wounded animal afraid of death, pushing everyone away to stay safe. She tried to fill the void inside with the fake lights of fame, but the darkness of the attic never truly left her shattered mind. When she arrived in Hollywood, she was an insult to beauty standards. No makeup, no heels, and yelling at directors. The industry branded her box office poison. No one wanted to watch this sharp-tongued, masculine woman. But she fed on rejection. With every firing, she became more aggressive. In a world where women were expected to be ornamental dolls, she chose to be a troublemaker. This rebellion was her only desperate strategy for survival. Her marriage to Ludlow Ogden Smith was a total fiasco. She dominated him so much she made him change his name because Kate Smith sounded too ordinary. Ludlow became a doormat she used to climb the career ladder, not a husband. When she left him, she didn't look back. This relationship was the first proof of how Katharine viewed men merely as tools and how terrified she was of forming any real emotional bond. She used him and discarded him cold. Whispers about her sexual identity never ceased. She formed close bonds with famous lesbian and bisexual women. Living with Laura Harding was dismissed as a sewing friendship, but everyone in Hollywood's underground knew the truth. Wearing pants wasn't a fashion choice, it was likely the scream of a repressed identity. She fit into no mold, and this ambiguity made her both attractive and dangerous, a puzzle that no man could ever truly solve. Her relationship with Howard Hughes was like the collision of two lunatics. Hughes loved her wild, untamable nature. They flew planes, fled paparazzi, and fed each other's egos. But Hughes's controlling mania clashed with Katharine's passion for freedom. When he proposed, she refused. She was a predatory bird that couldn't be contained in a golden cage, not even one diamond encrusted. She chose the sky over a suffocating life of luxury with him. Then came Spencer Tracy, her life's love and greatest curse. This 26-year affair was Hollywood's biggest open secret. Tracy was married, Catholic, and would never divorce. While Katharine was the icon of the independent woman, she turned into a slave in this bond. She accepted living in his shadow, using back doors, and being the other woman. This wasn't love. It was masochistic submission. The strong woman became a kitten beside him. Spencer Tracy was a fatherly figure on screen, but in real life, he was alcoholic, depressive, and cruel. Katharine nursed him through binges. She picked him up from bars, cleaned his vomit, and tucked him in. She stayed silent even when he insulted her. She sacrificed her own career to fix this man's broken life. She was Tracy's mother, lover, and punching bag all at once. This sacrifice slowly gnawed away at her soul for decades. The bitterest part of this forbidden love was Katharine giving up her dreams of motherhood. She couldn't have a child with Tracy. The scandal would end their careers. Rumors say she had a secret abortion or waited until menopause for a divorce that never came. Regardless, she remained childless and lonely in those massive mansions. Her devotion to her nieces was actually compensation for the family she never had, a deep and silent regret. Tracy's alcoholism was so severe he sometimes trashed hotel rooms. Katharine bribed management to cover it up. Rumors surfaced that Tracy once slapped her. Katharine never confirmed this, as domestic violence was seen as a man's hard time back then. She romanticized this toxic relationship as true love, but from the outside, it looked like the Hollywood version of Stockholm Syndrome. She was a willing hostage to his drunken rage. Through the 40s and 50s, the gap between her career and private life grew. On screen, she played strong women in films like The Philadelphia Story, but at home, she was shining Tracy's shoes. This duality ruined her psychology. Devoting herself to Tracy isolated her from friends and family. She lived solely for his approval. That legendary Katharine Hepburn was actually just a little girl trying desperately to get a man's attention. Her performance as the drug-addicted mother in Long Day's Journey into Night was perhaps her most realistic. She knew addiction well, not to substances, but to a person. The desperation in that film was a reflection of her own life. She won Oscars and was applauded, but at night she had to return to her silent, forbidden life, sitting in that invisible mistress chair beside Tracy. Fame could not cure her deep loneliness. When Spencer Tracy died in 1967, Katharine suffered the ultimate humiliation. She was not allowed to attend the funeral. Out of respect for his wife and children, she couldn't send the man she loved on his final journey. She waited in her car. Far from the church, she had to mourn the man she gave 26 years to in secret. This event turned her heart to stone. From that day on, she never loved anyone that deeply or was that vulnerable again. After Tracy's death, her famous head tremor became more pronounced. People thought it was Parkinson's, but it was genetic essential tremor. Yet that shaking seemed like years of accumulated stress, suppressed pain, and unspoken words spilling out of her body. Even as her jaw trembled, she tried to maintain that authoritarian tone. She attempted to cover her physical frailty with her sharp wit and brutal honesty, hiding the pain. As she aged, she became cranky and intolerant. She couldn't stand children on set and refused to sign autographs. It is said she once slapped a fan's hand trying to take a photo. She refused to be a cute grandmother. She chose to be Hollywood's witch. This harshness was actually the final wall she built to keep people away. Her logic was simple. If no one could get close to her, no one could ever abandon her again like they did before. She spent her final years in seclusion at her Connecticut home, alone with memories. Although old friends like Warren Beatty tried to visit, she chose solitude. She didn't fear death, for she had met it at 13 with her brother. She only feared being forgotten and looking helpless. She lived to be 96, but her soul had perhaps died years ago on the day she drank her last coffee with Spencer Tracy in that kitchen. Only a shell remained. When Katharine Hepburn died in 2003, she left behind 4 Oscars and thousands of unsolved secrets. She was the revolutionary who made it acceptable for women to wear pants, yet a traditional lover hiding in a man's shadow. She was the queen of contradictions. She had to look strong because weakness meant death in her dictionary. Her brother's body hanging from the rope followed her like a shadow all her life, and she always ran to escape. Her story is proof that fame and success can never fill the internal void. Katharine conquered the world, but could never save the little girl in her heart. She was the silver screen's greatest lie, a broken porcelain doll wearing an invincible mask. Today on Iconic Lives, we saw the old tired face behind the mask. When the lights go out, Even legends are just humans. Take care until the next tragic life story. Goodbye for now.